Okay, let's get right into it. Welcome to episode 91 of M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers podcast. I'm Jamie, the dyer behind M1 Yarns, and you can find links to my website everywhere you can find me on the interwebs, and show notes. That's a hard word today. You can find show notes below. But if you're new here, welcome. This is a mostly knitting, spinning, yarn dyeing, fiber world related podcast. So if that's your thing, you're in the right spot. I hope you have your project to knit on or spin on or whatever your vibe is, and a little beverage. I've got a cup of English tea today. As I am recording this on Wednesday, October 30th, it is 76 degrees outside. I live in Metro Detroit, so that is pretty warm for the season. And we're losing daylight, so the lighting in here is a little weird. But I was kind of tired this afternoon. Got some yarn dyed and some other stuff, prepping for Advent boxes. So I figured a cup of tea was just what I needed to be fully caffeinated for this episode, but I'm probably going to pay for it later this evening when I have trouble falling asleep. So we shall see. Anyway, enough of my silly rambling. I have got quite the episode for you today. I just got back last week from Rhinebeck, New York, where I went to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, as well as a couple fringe events. I went on that trip with some girlfriends, and I'm going to show you what I bought so I can share with you, if you weren't able to go, some really fabulous makers to check out, as well as some just kind of like inspiration things for maybe future projects for you. And then with that, I will intersperse in there video footage that I took along the way. I am looking at everything I have here because it is kind of a hot mess. Let's start, though, real quick with what I'm working on, and this will be real quick. So if you're here for the Rhinebeck stuff, just stick with me. I promise this will be fun. And this time around, I've got my reading glasses with me because I tell you, the struggle is real these days. Like, I'm at the point, these are progressives, I need to, oh, they are dirty as hell. I need to start wearing them, like, nearly all the time. Okay, so if you watched the last episode I recorded right before I went to Rhinebeck, and I was working on my Varma cardigan, and I had finished knitting it, I had steeked it, I had knit the button band, I had lost it Yarn Chicken, I talked about it. Because the weather was going to be so nice, I was like, I don't need to bring a bulky weight sweater that doesn't even fit right. And I got a lot of negative comments. And I just want to take a moment here today to seriously say that if you are sitting there at home, behind the anonymity of your screen, and you are making rude comments, I mean, I can handle negativity. I have thick skin, and I get it. In some instances, I might deserve negativity, but rudeness, I don't think anyone should be saying something behind the screen of anonymity that they wouldn't say to someone's face. For instance, there was someone who said, you know, like, didn't you try it on? Like, isn't that a given for knitters? Yes. But this was a bottom-up sweater, and if you yourself have never knit a bottom-up sweater, you might not realize that while you can knit a sleeve and put it on your arm and it fits great, what didn't fit on me was where the sleeve joined the yoke of the sweater. So I had tried on what I could as I went. Everything was looking good, and because it's steeked, you still don't get the right idea because you're going to be cutting it open, introducing more fabric here, so it's all off. So the only way to truly get a perfect try on is with a top-down seamless knit, which this was not. And I will add to that bit I was talking about with the rudeness. You catch more flies with honey. So if you're here to be rude, you can just leave. That's fine. If you have constructive criticism, please stay. But anyway, so that's what I was working on last time, and I ditched it. I will weave in the ends. I will be happy to give it to somebody who is smaller in here than me, and perhaps taller, because I did knit it long. I wanted it long, but it's probably a bit too long. That really wasn't the point. But for that trip to Rhinebeck, I was ready to cast on a new project, and I did. And it is a top-down seamless sweater, so I will be trying it on. Thank you very much. This is the Eun, I think is how you pronounce it, E-U-N, by November Knits. And the yarn I'm knitting it with is my Yak Dream lace weight, held with Finnsheep DK by my good friend Emily of Goldenbee Farms. This is the label. So this is her yarn. This is her sheep. She is the shepherdess. And this is DK weight Michigan wool. So I'm holding these together. As I said, this is the Eun. And I think the problem that I run into with a lot of sweaters, which is why I prefer top down, is that you can try it on. So I have a 38-inch bust, but I have fairly narrow shoulders. And so what I run into, and everyone's proportions are different, so when you see a sweater that's like, here are the numbers that you'll use for a 38-inch, that may not work for everything else. For example, I'm 5'3". I have shorter than average arms. So I know through experience that I have to knit my sleeves shorter than the pattern calls for. Generally, when I knit a sweater, I need a shallower depth than most patterns call for. So for example, in this sweater, which I got gauge, so don't come at me for that, I need to do, I believe, 6 more increase sets, which is a 2-round set. So 12 more rounds. But as you can see, I'm basically at the point that I'm ready to split for sleeves. I put this on an SOS cord. These try-on cords are in my shop, available in 2 sizes. I put this on it last night, gave this a quick iron so I could kind of get a real feel for it, and tried it on and figured out, yeah, I'm going to split for sleeves early. So that project is cruising right along, and I am so here for it. The yarns are delightful. The pattern is great. It's going great. So that's that. That is all I am knitting on. I do have a sock on the needles, but it's in like serious hibernation, we will say. My other project, which I talked about recently, is I am at the point of plying some yarn. I think last time I had not yet given these skeins a block, but I plied this, I reskeined it, I gave it a bath. As I reskeined it, I used the yardage counter, and I have roughly here like 350 yards total for these 2 skeins. I don't think I've weighed these. No, I haven't. So I need to do that. Anyway, so I'm not yet done plying that spin, but I'm loving it. And I had started it on my electric Eel Wheel 6, which I've talked about before. But what I didn't share, maybe I did, I am ready for what I like to call a big girl wheel. I wasn't before. I had to work my way up to it. But right before Rhinebeck, I had found a wheel on Facebook Marketplace. I had tried a bunch of wheels, as you should. I found exactly what I wanted. So let me share with you. I got an Ashford Joy. I bought this from a lovely lady. And as you can see, I've already started a spin on here. What I love about this wheel and why I chose it, it does fold up and you can stick it in a bag that it comes with. I really wanted something that could be folded up and put away, or folded up and taken with me on the road. And I love that. I love the fact that it's an Ashford because parts are readily available. Like, I do need a new drive band. It's fine on the, so there's 4 gear ratios, as you can see here. It's fine on the largest one, but on the smaller ones, it doesn't quite flow how it should. So that's on order. As I mentioned, I've already started a spin, and I'm going to try to maneuver this so you can see it. Maybe it's pigtailing because that's the loose. But anyway, there we go. So this is my first successful time spinning on a traditional, and by traditional, this is more of a modern traditional wheel. And by that, I mean treadling. Treadling and spinning, drafting, I should say. It's like, oh, here it is. It's like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. So the fiber that I am spinning is this. It is Shetland wool by Keira WXYZ. I bought this at Woolen Folk. Yes, that Woolen Folk. Last year, October 2023. She had her booth upstairs, which was very hard to get to. Most people didn't even know there were booths up there, but this was quite the find. And this might have been the only one I bought from her, although I thought I bought more. Anyway, I'm not seeing it. Loving, loving, loving this. So that is my big acquisition, and I could not be more excited. So because I knew that that was kind of on the horizon, so good. I started to think that maybe, after all, I would want to buy a fleece at Rhinebeck. And it's so funny because when I got back, I was on the phone with my mom, and she was like, oh, so were you vending at this festival? And I said, no, this is my, after my season, girls trip, my chance to shop, my chance to play, my chance to have fun. And she said, oh, well, that's a long way to go for fun. And it is that good that it is totally worth it. And I think it is always worth it to go on a trip with friends to a beautiful location like upstate New York. And it is a really fantastic festival, which is interesting because in the last week or so, I've seen a lot of podcast episodes on YouTube of people who went maybe for the first, maybe for the second time, and had a lot of negative comments to say. If big crowds are not your thing, and they're not really my thing, but if it's worth it, it's worth it, then don't go. But the shopping is excellent. The vendors are excellent. The crowds, the people that you'll meet are phenomenal. So I had a great time. Oh, all that rambling to say, I was rethinking buying a fleece. And so I didn't make it to the fleece barn until Saturday afternoon. And I figured by then, like last year, most of the good fleeces, which they have little scorecards on the bag, and I think I have some footage of that, so if I do, I'll insert it here. But most of the well-scored fleece bags are gone. They are picked over, and all that's left is kind of the lesser. And I didn't want the lesser. I wanted to start off with a good fleece. Now, mind you, I didn't want to spend a lot, but what was interesting, there was a lot of really well-scored Gotland fleece available. And so I got one. And I decided wisely to get a smaller fleece. So not 5-6 pounds, but this one, which is, it was pre-scouring, 2 pounds, 10 ounces. And I have since scoured it, and I have, I've managed to get it all in this big Ziploc bag. And I'm just gonna take out a handful to show you. I fell in love with these curly locks. I think that has to be the, what do you call it? The card. The, I'm dropping locks everywhere. The little, you know, screen grab. Anyway, I fell in love with these gorgeous locks. The crimp is amazing. This was actually a very affordable fleece, and I'll insert, and in the show notes below I'll put what farm it's from. But if you look, there's a really cool blend of grays, light grays, dark grays, tan, brown, silver. This was really fun. And so I did take some footage of the scouring process, and I will insert it here. These are my 4 buckets. We're about to add the Dawn dish soap and the hot water, and we'll see how it goes. Now, just because I'm super curious and I've never done this before, I want to peek at the water of the bucket that I put the most fleece in and first. So let's just see how this goes. It is pretty dirty. I'm actually surprised because this fleece did not strike me as that dirty when I bought it and handled it. But nonetheless, we're just going to smush that in so we don't felt it. We're going to let it sit for 30 minutes and we will come back and see. So this has been soaking for about 20 minutes. And I had planned to give it about 10 more minutes, but I am super curious what the water looks like. So I'm just going to do a quick check. It is pretty dirty. Let's check one of these as well. The one I just showed you was the first one that went in the water. So my plan with this, and hopefully you can see me, I'm going to pull these bags out, push them into a bucket to collect hot water, and then put them into another bucket to just set them to the side. So I've got 2 buckets here in the bathtub, 2 buckets over here on the bathroom floor. All right, it's been 30 minutes. I am just giving a quick push and then a push against this bucket and then drop that bag in there. And I'll show you the water. I'm going to dump this in the garden. Next. Okay. So, the dirty water has been thrown outside, and now we will be repeating the process. So bag in the bucket, hot water, Dawn. Maybe a little less Dawn. So while I was letting this soak, I was watching videos of other spinners scouring their fleece. And I realized I probably didn't need to divide this 2 pound, 10 ounce fleece into 4 buckets. I probably could have done 3 buckets. So, this was the second wash. This is washing number 3, so hopefully we're starting to get a little clearer. I feel like maybe another round is needed. Since this is the 4th round, I've been dumping the buckets outside, but this time I'm actually going to dump it down the toilet so that as it goes down, I can get a pretty clear idea of the actual color, since these orange buckets are clearly distorting the color of the water. So now we're going to start some rinse cycles and see if without the soap we can just kind of finish it off. I watched lots of videos, including some Instagram stories from Christopher of Flannel and Pearls, who, if you don't already follow Christopher, please do. Christopher's videos are highly engaging, entertaining, and educational. So I learned a lot watching videos there, and so I successfully scoured this. Interestingly, it started at 2 pounds, 10 ounces, and after washing out the lanolin, there was really not much dirt. Not much dirt, there was some. I only lost about 4 or 5 ounces to that cleaning process. So we've got that. And then on Sunday, I had thought about buying another fleece. But the dilemma was, will it fit in my suitcase? And I wasn't 100% sure. Although, I could easily ship stuff home. But in the last 30 minutes of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, I was in a booth, and the vendor said to me, whatever fleece you want, you can have for 25 bucks. It's easier to sell it for cheap than to haul it home, and it takes up space, yada, yada, yada. And so I bought it's in 2 bags this time, Cotswold fleece. And this Cotswold breed is known for its golden locks. And I'll just give you a feel. See how they have like that gold tint? I mean, a lot of breeds do. But historically, these were really favored. And this fleece, it wasn't dirty in the sense of like chunks of poop and hay and things like that. Not a lot of hay, some. But it smelled really sheepy. And so I knew I needed to scour this pretty soon after getting home, because it was kind of, it was like having an animal in the house. So I did scour this. I don't know where my notes are on this. I'll have to put on the screen the beginning weight, which is, I'll put this on the screen now. And then the after scouring weight, which was that number. And it fit into these 2 bags, which I thought would be an easy way to store it until I get to spinning. And in preparation of spinning, I couldn't find these at Rhinebeck, but I ordered some hand carders by Ashford. I haven't even assembled them yet. There's 2 in this box. You get this. You have to screw on the handle. So they're bigger than I thought they would be. So, really, really excited about those 2 fleece. How easy it was to scour them, how well it turned out, and how beautiful they are. So, with that, I guess those were 2 of the things I bought at Rhinebeck. But let me share some more. So, on the Friday of the weekend of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, there are several fringe events, and my friends and I went first to India Entangled. Let's see here. At India Entangled, trying to think. Yes, at India Entangled, I bought more roving from Keira Wiggins. Keira Wiggins, which is Keira WXYZ, who is the fiber that's on my new wheel. I bought this. I'll show you. This was just too pretty to pass up with all the sparkly and the beautiful colors. And this beautiful braid is 40% Corriedale. Oh God, see, I need my reading glasses. 40% Corriedale, 33% merino, 2% stellina, 25% recycled sari silk. Absolutely gorgeous. So excited to spin this. So that was nice. I also bought, what did I buy? Oh yeah, I bought this. This was really fun. This is from Sandpiper Yarns, Sue Nagel. Hand painted and hand spun fibers. There are, and I kind of wish I bought 2 of these, but I think it'll be okay. This is Merino Superwash 2-ply. 6.4 ounces, 128 yards. Someone's car alarm is going off outside. I know it's not mine. So sorry if you can hear it. Anyway, moving right along. When I bought this, they had a beautiful sample of the pixelated cardie, which if you're familiar, that's a, words are hard. Knit collage. Let me show you this up close. That is a knit collage pattern. I have knit that. Have I knit it? Now I'm thinking, if I knit it, where the heck is it? I'm sure I have. I just don't know where the sweater is. That's really odd. Anyway, I thought this would be really fun and kind of a good, like, I don't know. Just really happy. Not normally my colors, like these kind of pastel brights, but I think that'll be fun. So I got that. Let's see. I'll come back to that. At India Entangled, we bought tickets for one of the time slots that included this cute tote bag. I'm hoping you can see it. So I got that, and it was full of goodies, and I just want to see if there's anything in here that I wanted to share with you. No, I won't bore you with that. Okay. Then after India Entangled, we went to Cake Palooza. I love it! Yay! Give us a twirl! Yes, Mama! And at Cake Palooza, what did I buy? I think, yes, the only thing I got was this cute little pouch from my good friend Tannei Casey. Oh, wait a minute. I'll come back to that. And I thought that this would be really cute for, I don't know. It's just so adorable. I don't want to use it for knitting because I want it more for like everyday, like life. Maybe I'll put like lipsticks and stuff in here. You don't care about that. You're like, it's cute. Moving on. Okay. That was all I got there. Going back to Indie Entangled, I had pre-ordered these stitch markers, which I'm going to try to show you. There's like a sweater and a sheep. Cute, huh? It's a whole set. These are from Baah Humble. See if this will focus. Baah Humble. And then while I was in her booth, I saw these stitch markers, which I thought were just adorable. I had to have them. So I got those. So then Saturday of New York Sheep and Wool Festival, we got there for fairly early. I went to the used fiber equipment auction, kind of thinking if something felt inspiring, I would bid on it, but no big deal. Did not, before the bidding actually started, I got bored and left. But I knew the first thing I really wanted to buy were these socks by Purple Hummingbird Woolens, who is Johanna Richardson. She's out of New Hampshire. She has an Etsy shop, which I'll link below. I buy a pair of socks from her every year. These are hand cranked, and I really liked, I have like fuzz and hair on them, so sorry. I really like that the leg on this is ribbed. She said she doesn't do these anymore because she has like carpal tunnel and the ribbing process, although these are cranked, so I'm not sure about that. But anyway, so she makes socks to size. So I wear a 6.5 US shoe size, and these are a size 6 to 7. And I love them. They were only 30 bucks, which for, you know, beautiful socks that'll last forever is a steal. So go check her out if you like knitted socks but don't want to knit them like me. What else? So then I bought the fleece. And then I think that day I also bought these from Feederbrook Farm, which I have knit with their yarn before. I don't think I have any in stash right now. I can't even remember what I've knit with them before, but they're like Spin Cycle. They are, this set is comprised of Blueface Leicester wool. Really beautiful. And, so I encourage you to check out Feederbrook Farm. They are amazing. Love, love, love their yarns. And I mean, look at those colors. Gorgeous. Okay, so that was, oh, stuff is on the floor. Actually, one of the first few things I bought Saturday were 2 of these beautiful, I don't know what you call these. They're not braids. They're not hanks. They're like, I don't know. These are from the sheep shed at Mountain View Farm. I bought 2 from them last year. I should get them. Hold that thought. So I knew I wanted more, and I went straight to this booth, saw these. This is BFL. Each one is a half a pound. So I got a pound. This is going to be amazing. I am so excited about this. So that was a win. Let me show you what I bought from them last year. So last year I bought this one, which is Polworth. And I also bought this one, which is Shetland. And let me see. These are so affordable. Each of these is only 14 bucks and some change for a half pound. So, I mean, they're not dyed, and they're straight from the farm, so that makes sense. Anyway, what am I missing? Oh, I did buy some wine. You don't care probably about that, but I will include the winery in the show notes below in case you do. I also bought some Hetta Glugg, which I got this project bag with. It is, how do I describe it? Let's see, there's a card. Our glug begins with a custom blended port made from grapes in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York and brandy from a Napa Valley distillery. We infuse it with cinnamon, raisins, cardamom, and orange peels. The final blend is 21.9% alcohol by volume, 44 proof. Hetta is vegan and gluten-free, and every year I try a sample of it and never buy it because I'm worried about, like, how am I going to get it home? This year, I figured with all the fiber I bought, I had plenty of padding in my suitcase, and we were just going to go for it. So I bought a couple bottles. I am so excited. I actually think, and you serve it warm, which I just love. My mom used to always make wassail, which is basically like warm spiced wine. So love that. So I bought 2 of those. And then the only other thing I bought, I also bought this at Feederbrook Farm. This braid, which it's not often I buy hand-dyed stuff because I hand-dye yarn and fiber myself. But when I see other people's colorways that really make my heart sing, I just have to have it. So this braid is Blueface Leicester as well. Very cool. So who knows what it will become, but I'm excited for it. I hope that throughout this, I'm interspersing footage of Yarnbeck. That's really what it should be called. Rhinebeck. But if not, I'll kind of put like a little montage at the end. We'll see how the editing comes out, because it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks since I took the footage. The very last thing I think I bought, besides the fleece, was this fun tea towel. I love bean boots. This is from a maker called Jenny Blue, Maine. I met Jenny in her booth. She was wearing the coolest sweater, and I'm going to insert a photo here. She had bought this hand-knit sweater at a thrift shop when, I believe the story was when Obama was either running for election or maybe he was about to be inaugurated or something like that. And she had basically embellished this thrifted sweater. And then she had added RBG, and then with the current election, she had added on, although you can't see it in the photo, Kamala. And she had a lot of tea towels with Kamala's face on it, but she was sold out by the time I got there. And I said to her, I hope that people who may not agree with your politics have been respectful. And she said, Some have, many have not, which I thought was really sad because I think, and I'm just going to say this, I think our country has lost respect. We're not even making America great again. We are making America an absolute mess. And I think that we each individually have to take it upon ourselves to make America more respectful of one another, more kind, more graceful. And so I had a lovely chat with her, all that to say. And it was kind of getting towards the end of the day, and the bean boots did it for me. So I got the bean boots. She draws all these things, puts them on tea towels, ceramics. Trying to think what else she had in her booth. If I have footage, I'll put it in there, but that was really nice. I think that might be it. Oh, I bought some soaps and body scrub. My husband loves that kind of stuff. So I don't even think I got a photo. Maybe I got some footage. So that was a local to Rhinebeck maker called Periwinkle something, I believe. So I'll include that. All these makers were so talented. There are a ton of vendors at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, India Entangled, Cake Palooza, and all the other events. But I really enjoyed the vendors I spoke to. I really enjoyed speaking to viewers who came up to me and recognized me. And that was fun. And I saw some of my favorite podcasters. And of course, I was too shy to say hello. I did run into one of my favorite people in the yarn world, who is Gina of Skein Cocaine. It was really nice seeing her and chatting for a few minutes. And let's see. I think that's it. Overall, I will just say I went with friends. It was 5 of us. 2 of my friends had gone before to Rhinebeck with me. Terry of Busy Hook, Happy Heart, Busy Hands, Happy Hook. Why can I not think of what her Instagram handle is? But she makes hats and sells them in stores and markets in the Pittsburgh area. Also in my Rhinebeck house was, sorry, I'm getting alerts on my screen, so it's like distracting me. Akia of Dr. Charlie Untangled. She has a knitting podcast. Go follow her. Then also my friend Kelly came with me. This was her first Rhinebeck, and it was really fun to, she was my travel partner from here in Michigan, and it was really interesting to see Rhinebeck through her perspective as a first-time goer, because this was my 5th time. And then also my friend Narissa joined us from Chicago. She traveled with Akia, and we just had a great time. We had this beautiful home in Saugerties, and we just laughed and cried and laughed some more and had such a good time. So much planning and preparation goes into a trip to Rhinebeck for the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And I will say you should do it at least once in your lifetime. There is nothing quite like it. I've never been to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. I would really like to go. I have not been to Flock, which I would also really like to go. Oh, and a new one which has hit my radar, based on things that fellow vendors have said, is the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. But I think that is the same weekend that I vend at the Ann Arbor Fiber Expo. So I might have to do that in the future when I'm no longer running my yarn business. But all that to say that fiber festivals are really the backbone of our fiber industry. there is nothing quite like shopping for yarn and fiber and trinkets and, you know, paraphernalia, if you will, in person. I love online shopping. I hope that the internet never goes away. But, yeah, it was great to talk to people and look at things with your hands and just experience everything. And I love traveling. So I just want to share some of that with you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I am an open book about my Rhinebeck experience. As I said, this was my 5th time going. I probably will go every year for as many years as my little heart can stand. And I think that's all I had to talk about this time. Yeah. Tell me what you're knitting below. Tell me if you went to Rhinebeck. Tell me if you've ever been to Rhinebeck. And tell me what your favorite fiber event is. I love hearing about new ones that I've never heard of, like really obscure ones. Until next time, thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me with the algorithm. And if you really enjoyed it, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I release videos about every 2 weeks. And until next time, I'll see you later.